Hello everyone, welcome back to GST Park. In this episode, we are going to discuss about the revision. We will discuss and we will revise about the composition chapter, not in detail, but what is required for examination point of view. A quick recap. Whenever you are free, you just plug in your earphone and listen to this lecture. Don't worry, this will not be for more than somewhere 10 minutes. Okay? We will start. Composition, section number 10. To whom the composition is applicable when your turnover in the preceding financial year is less than 1.5 crores to others. But in some special category states, if your turnover is less than 75 lakhs, then it is applicable, provided you should be Mr. T. What is Mr. T? M for manufacturer, R for restaurant, T for taxable trader. For manufacturer, M for manufacturer, CGST is 0.5% and SGST is 0.5% of the total turnover. R for restaurant guy, for them 2.5% of the CGST, 2.5% of SGST on total turnover. For trader, it is 0.5, CGST, SGST or taxable supplies. To the trader, it is taxable supplies. And in the previous preceding financial year, your turnover should be 1.5 crores. Provided you should be in other than special category states, but if you are there in special category states, your turnover should be somewhere 75 lakhs, less than or equal to 75 lakhs. Now, which are special category states, sir? Special category states are Mami and me. We are eating areca nuts, NUTS. So, there are 7 states. Manipur, me, Mizoram, me. Mami and me. Meghalaya, areca nuts. A for Arunachal Pradesh, N for Nagaland, U for Uttarakhand, T for Tripura and S for Sikkim. 8 states. 8 states may it is 75 lakhs, less than or equal to 75 lakhs, then you can opt for composition scheme. Later, section number 10 subsection 2 may who are not eligible for composition scheme. If you are nice MC, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. What is nice MC, sir? NISMC, correct? No, NISE. So it is NISE. NISE, nice MC. So what is N, sir? If you should not be if you are the supplier of non-taxable supplies, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. If you are interstate supplier, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. If you are the supplier under e-commerce, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. E for S for supplier of service, E for supplier under e-commerce, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. M for manufacturer of notified goods, then you are not eligible for composition scheme. C for CTP, NRTP. If you are CTP, NRTP, then again you are not eligible for composition scheme. This is nice MC. Nice MC may again not eligible for composition scheme if you are non-taxable suppliers, interstate supplier, supplier of service, supplier under e-commerce, manufacturer of notified goods, CTP and NRTP. Then you are not eligible for composition scheme. This is given in section number 10 subsection 2, but the special section is S. In case the special point is that service provider. So there are no supplier. Nowadays there are no supplier who is not giving the service. Example, even a supplier of goods, he will give the service to some extent, sir. That's why government told you can give the service. You can give the service to the extent of 5 lakhs or 10% of the turnover in the preceding financial year. You can give to this extent, whichever is higher, to this extent you can give the service. So that is given by the notification. So some special notification, special note it is. Later, section number 10 subsection 2A has been introduced for service provider. Those who are not eligible under section number 10.1, they can go for section number 10.2A. So which says that if you are exclusively supplier of services, that means who are not eligible under Mr. T, that is supplier of service except restaurant. So that R, Mr. T में R is for restaurant. For restaurant guys, they are eligible there. Other than restaurant, other services, exclusive provider services, no, then you are eligible under section 10 subsection 2A, provided in the preceding financial year your turnover should be less than or equal to 50 lakhs. Then you are eligible for composition, provided your GST rate is 3% CGST and 3% SGST, and you should not be the supplier of, you should not be making any notified goods. So nice MC, you should not be the nice MC. Nice MC में S, you should deduct S here. So that is what we discussed. Now the question is, sir, what is notified goods as per M? You remember ice cream wala story? Ice cream wala story में it is ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, ash bricks, building bricks, fossil bricks, aerated water, and lastly the roofing tiles and earthen tiles. So in all these cases, if you are manufacturer of this, then you are not eligible for composition. That is what we discussed. Uske baad we discussed about some of the statements which one you have to file if you are from normal taxable person to composition. If you are going to composition, then GST CMP 02, you have to file GST CMP 02 with ITC 03. ITC 03, you have to file ITC 03 and GST CMP 02 for entering into the composition. If you are going out of the composition, then you have to file GST CMP 04 and ITC 01, GST form, GST ITC 01. So these are the things that you have to remember. Uske baad, one more important point is that if you have two registrations in different states or in one state, you cannot opt for composition in one registration and the composition for one registration and for another registration, normal registration, is not possible. If you are composition in one state, then you are composition in all the states. If you are normal in one state, then you are normal in all the states. It is not possible to opt for composition for one registration and normal for another registration, not possible. This is one more important point that we had to discuss. And if he is a composition dealer, then he cannot collect the tax at the same time, he cannot give any credit. And one more thing, when you can opt for composition, sir, in the timing wise, you can opt the composition when you are taking a fresh registration in middle of the year, in the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. If you are taking fresh registration, you can take the registration at any time. But in case you are already registered under the normal scheme, now if you want to opt for composition, then you can do it only at the end of the year for next financial year. For next financial year, you can go for composition scheme only at the end of the preceding financial year. So that means if you want to go for composition for 24-25, then by 2024 March, you have to opt for composition for the next financial year. Otherwise, you cannot go for composition in the middle. It is not possible to go for composition in the middle. And if you are a composition dealer, then you have to mention in your board that you are a composition dealer, and in all your documents which you are preparing and you are giving it to the customer, you have to mention that you are a composition dealer, not eligible to collect the tax. You are not eligible to collect the tax. That you have to put it on your all the documents which you are giving it to the customer. Next, if you are composition dealer, you cannot supply services. You should be the supplier of goods. So supply service, you can give some extent, to some extent you can give the services, and it is mentioned that you will be considered as supplier of goods if you are giving the deposit. So you have kept some deposit in the bank for which you are getting some interest, no, that will be considered as supply, exclusive supplier of goods, even though it is supply of service. Actually, it is supply of service, but it is exempt. So the government says that these two exempt services, one is giving discount and other one is receiving the interest on the deposit. These two will not be considered as supply of service for the purpose of composition. And one important point that I wanted to discuss is that almost all other points that we have covered in the video for revision purpose, and here that turnover, what will be included in the aggregate turnover for the purpose of aggregate turnover, aggregate ATO, for aggregate turnover for the purpose of eligibility of composition. So you have to take from 1st of April, the turnover which has happened from 1st of April, no, you have to calculate till 31st of March for the next year. Example, for 2023 24, if you want to go for composition, you have to see that what is your turnover from the beginning of the financial year 1/4/2020 2022 1/4/2022 to 31st 3 2023 tak. So entire your turnover has to be considered for aggregate turnover limit to opt for composition for this year 23-24. But for the purpose of payment of the tax, no, for the purpose of payment of the tax, example, you started your business here, and for the payment somewhere here your turnover crossed 20, 10 or 40 as the case may be. If your turnover crossing that limit, then here onwards you take the composition, registration. For this composition registration, from when you have to pay the tax, sir? From here. Example, in the month of June, in the month of July, 10 July 2023, you became liable for registration. You took the registration under composition, and July, August, September. For these 3 months, no, you have to file July, August, September. For these 3 months, you have to file the GST CMP 08. What is this GST CMP 08? That is quarterly statement which consists of your purchases as well as your sales. Both will be there, that you have to fill it in GST CMP 08, and you have to pay the GST by July, August, September, October. 18th of October you have to file your GST CMP 08, and tax will be only for this turnover from 10th July to 30th of September. Till 30th of September, whatever sales has happened, no, for that you have to pay the GST, but not for this. This will not be considered for payment of the tax. Remember, this will not be considered for payment of the tax. But aggregate turnover, last year ka aggregate turnover, sir, from the 1st of April till 31st of March. Everything will be taken. So if you want me to explain again, listen to me carefully. Here, 100% attention here. Think that for the year 2022-23, you started your business on 2022-2023. In this year you started your business. Somewhere here your turnover crossed 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 40 lakhs as the case may be. So for this quarter you are under composition scheme. Sir, I have to pay under composition scheme, sir. By 18th of next month you have to file GST CMP 08. You have to pay the GST at 1% or 5% or 6% as the case may be. You have to pay it to the government. And for the entire year you were under composition. Next year eligibility, you have to find out the eligibility for composition. Whether am I eligible for composition, sir? Yes, provided your aggregate turnover ATO in the preceding financial year. From which date, sir? From 1st April, not from this date. From 1st April itself you will calculate this turnover. No, we have excluded this turnover. For what purpose? For paying the GST here. We have excluded this for payment of GST here, but for next year to calculate the eligibility for composition, we will not exclude it, we have to include that. So we should not exclude it, we have to include that. This is one point I had to discuss with you. And remember that GST return wise, the composition dealer, he has to file every quarter. After the end of the quarter, example April, May, June, for this quarter he has to file GST CMP 08 by 18th of July. 18th of July he has to file it. For July, August, September by October 18th. So he has to file GST CMP 08, and October, November, December ke liye he has to file CMP 08 by 18th of January, and January, February, March. For January, February, March, CMP 08. He has to file CMP 08 by 18th of April. 18th of April. Not only that, he has to file by the end of 30th of April. By 30th of April. That means after the end of this year. After the end of this year, by 30th of April, he has to file GSTR 4. He has to file GSTR 4. Sir, what he forgets, sir? Then within 3 months, within next 3 months, that means May, June, July. By this, he has to file it without miss. What happens if he fails to file this? Then under section 29 subsection 2 that we discussed already, his registration is liable to be cancelled. Liable to cancel. His registration will get liable to be cancelled. That's why be careful that you have to file GSTR 4 by 30th of April, at least within 3 months from the due date of payment, due date of that return. Otherwise, your registration is liable to be get cancelled. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you about composition. Basically, last one time revision of revision. Section number 10 subsection 1, it is about who can opt for composition. If you are turnover, you are Mr. T, manufacturer, retail, restaurant and trader, then you can opt for composition provided your turnover in the preceding financial year is 1.5 crore in other states. If you are in other state, if you have a branch in the special category states such as Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, Tripura and Sikkim. In these states, if your turnover is less than or equal to 75 lakhs, then you can go for composition. Provided you should not be doing any supplies which is given in section number 10 subsection 2, which is NICE MC. What is NICE MC? NISE-MC. What is NISE-MC? N for you should not be doing non-taxable supplies. You should not be doing interstate supply. You should not be doing services, supply of services. You should not be doing supply under e-commerce. You should not be doing any manufacturing of notified goods. And C, that is CTP, NRTP. You should not be a CTP, NRTP, then you can go for composition. But in this case of NIS and E, there are conditions in S and E. S, you should not be the supplier of service, but government will allow you to supply the service to the extent of 5 lakhs or 10% of the turnover in the preceding financial year. And in case of E, e-commerce, you should not be supplying through e-commerce, but you can supply through e-commerce provided that e-commerce platform is yours own and you are not allowing any others to trade in that. In that case, you can go for supply under e-commerce. You can go for supply under e-commerce. Uske baad section number 10 subsection 2A says that those who are not eligible under section number 10.1, they can take composition provided some conditions are satisfied. Example, if exclusive supplier of service provider, if he opts for composition, then his turnover should be less than or equal to 50 lakhs in the preceding financial year and he has to pay 6%, which is 3% CGST, 3% SGST on the turnover. He has to pay, and he should not be NICE-MC, not NICE-MC. S is missing there, NICE-MC. So this is what given in the section number 10 subsection 2A. So these are important conditions, the important sections that you have to keep in mind. And one more very important one was that rate for Mr. T में M manufacturer के लिए 0.5 CGST, 0.5 SGST on total turnover, and R के लिए 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST on the total turnover. For trader 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST on the taxable supplies. I hope this is helpful to you. Whenever you are free, just plug in your earphone somewhere. 16, 17, 18 minutes का video है. So if you put it in 2x में, then definitely it will be to 9 minutes. 9 minutes में one chapter will be done. Thank you so much. We'll meet in next video with some next revision. Thank you. Bye. Hail GST.